Okay. And welcome everybody to the SideQuest weekend edition, where I yell really loudly and blow out your eardrums. Sorry about that. Still yelling at the TV for football, but whatever. I am Dolly Demosky, and I'm joined this weekend by JJ Holder.
Oh, yeah. On a non-wrestling show.
A non-wrestling show, yeah. It's been a while since we've podcasted. We were doing the SQW for a while, and then all of our schedules got kind of screwy. Summer happened, all of it, yeah. And so we put that on hiatus for a little bit until we figure out when we can start to do it again. But either way, got you on this show, haha, sucker!
You tricked me. You told me this is going to be about Randy Savage.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. We're going to talk about video games. Yeah, so we're going to talk about video games. You were fortunate enough to go to PAX West. No longer PAX and no longer PAX Prime.
Yeah.
Now it's PAX. It's been like renamed 4 times by now. It is PAX West.
Yeah.
And both you and Katie were out there representing the old side. Did you get a chance to bump into Katie at all? I know you guys are trying to coordinate.
Yes, once.
Okay.
Got to bump into each other when I was in line to see Hitman 2.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Very cool, very cool. I always like when SideQuesting folks meet for the first time in like strange places, in line to get pulverized by Hitman, the strangest yet, but possibly. So tell me about PAX West. What you saw a ton of stuff, because you were, I think you were telling me your inbox was getting flooded with requests and.
Yeah, it was hard to be able to figure out exactly what was good and what I would be, good at looking at. Because some things you get, and it's just like, this isn't I would be pointless.
You're like, I can't wait to check out this this motorhome themed basketball card game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean,
all of a sudden that sounds pretty cool, to be honest. Yeah, it's always the one thing. And when we go to these PAX shows. I try to let the team know, like, check out the stuff that you want to see, because there's an overload of things to see over there.
That's exactly. You'll note there was like a theme with, I really like looking at like retro things or throwbacks or like remakes of old things.
That is PAX East as well. I think both Sam and I tend to gravitate towards those things too. So it's good that remakes and retro flavorings are coming back. So tell me about some of the things that you saw and some of the things you liked, and we'll go from there.
One of the first things that I saw was at the Capcom booth. They had their 3 main attractions there. They had Devil May Cry 5, which is absolutely exactly the game you want it to be.
Cool.
It's just fast, and I obviously got to the boss fight and died, but
but you got to the boss fight, so that's something.
But I got to the boss fight nonetheless. I mean, it's full of the Devil May Cry, humor that that's a little crass, a little good like villain designs and stuff. Still, and everything just feels fast and fluid, and feels like a Devil May Cry like modern sequel. Like this is. The 2008. This is what Devil May Cry naturally progressing towards. Kind of, they did not try to reinvent the wheel with this one. So
how many of the Devil May Cry games have you played? Have you played them all, or a few?
I played the first 3. I never played 4. That's the only one I never played.
4 is the only one I did play, and I loved it.
I played the PlayStation 2 ones, and I played DMC. So those are the games that I played. So. Maybe I'll go back to 4 sometime. I'm everyone says it's one of the best. So
it was surprisingly good. Well, I'm glad that 5. So you said it was pretty fast, or
not fast, and like it's not like you're playing Spider-Man or something, but like you have a lot of locomotion. There's like you have like a tether that you can like pull yourself to enemies, a lot like Spider-Man still, but like. You're doing your bionic commando kind of stuff, so it's got some good like in battle fluidity going about it. Mega Man 11 was there. The demo's out for it, but the bosses that they had, the stages they had there, they had different ones than the demo has. And I mean, so there's not much else to talk about Mega Man. It feels real good.
It's mega. Yeah, it's just playing that demo, and maybe you can answer a couple of these little thoughts I had. But playing the demo, um, it does certainly start to feel like classic Mega Man. Yeah, I know a lot of folks were freaking out about the drop into the boss fight, but it starts to kind of feel like some of the classics. Yeah, the visuals are throwing me off.
Yeah, I don't like how it looks necessarily.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it looks bad, but it feels off. There's a bit of a disconnect with how Mega Man sort of moves about in this sort of like 8 and 16-bit feel with like this 3-dimensional space that he's in. Like
because Mega Man is very much a pixel-based, pixel perfect type of game. You need to know, you need to count those pixels, and I think that's what made even the Mega Man X games so good was that reason. So this starts to kind of get away from that, and
it feels like it wants to be an X game real bad. Like, but it can't because they decided on Mega Man 11. So it starts to drift a little bit towards like feeling like an X game, but it's not. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna get it. But
that comes out. Is it this week that it shows up or next week?
It's got to be this week. I feel like.
Man, it feels like every game's coming out this week now.
It's exhausting.
Sweet. Yeah, I'll probably get it too. I know they have the. I'm getting it for Switch more than likely because they have that sweet amiibo.
Yes.
And I'm still an amiibo boy. So.
Oh, absolutely. Any stupid little collectible thing you can push in my face.
I can see on your walls behind you.
Yeah. But Resident Evil 2 was absolutely my thing there. That was the main reason I showed up there, because it wasn't all that long ago that I would have said Resident Evil was my favorite franchise. Like Resident Evil 2 was a huge game for me in like school time. So that was like, I beat that game in like a weekend when it first came out. Like both stories. So I was very, very excited to check out Resident Evil 2, and I really, really like that game.
Yeah,
I like it. It feels like Resident Evil 2, like atmospherically, like because the demo starts you off in the police station, like when you first get there. So it's a good starting point for a demo.
Is it? So I'm assuming it's built on the Resident Evil 7 engine, more than likely.
I don't know. It's. I mean. It's not. It's certainly not tank controls. It's but it feels a lot more slower paced than like what was 6 was the last one, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, because it's. I mean, it's still over the shoulder, third person, classic Resident Evils of more recent Resident Evils.
Okay. Wow. All right.
But they just did away with the tank controls. It's sort of you feel like your movement wise, it feels a lot like if they just made Resident Evil without tank controls. It really, it's not. There's not a lot of speed to it, which was always.
Did you play the Revelations games at all?
Yeah, it feels a lot like the Revelations games. A lot.
I liked both the games actually. I liked the first one a lot. I haven't played enough the second one. I know it was episodic, but.
I played episode 1 of 2. It's not that I hated it; I just never got back to it.
Sure.
There's a lot out there, but yeah, I played through the Revelations 1 like twice. Originally when it first came out on a 3DS, and then when they re-released it on consoles later. But yeah, I really like that one because it split the difference between like the original ones with tank controls and sort of the more modern 4 or 5 sort of feel for them, and it looks gorgeous. Like. Just like it has a lot of you could. I think that's probably, if you're going to say Resident Evil 7, you could tell that's probably engine wise, it's probably using the Resident Evil 7 engine, because it like the atmosphere and like the buildings and stuff really feel like it's that sort of game. So
like all 3 games you've described, well, 2 of the 3 games I should say, Devil May Cry and Resident Evil, are, man, I look at my PS4 and my Xbox One, and I'm thinking, should I upgrade to the Pro or the Xbox One X? Because these games would be perfect on that.
Yeah, I feel like it feels like with probably Resident Evil 2 in particular, that upgrade will probably be very useful. Devil May Cry 5 didn't really look like it was pushing very many envelopes visually, but it's also early enough probably where you never know exactly where it's sitting right now. But
sure,
yeah,
cool.
Resident Evil 2, they had a lot of puzzles in there that led to nowhere because it's a little section of a game that you weren't really intended to beat. You were just sort of. It was funny because I got in there and I'm like, oh, so what am I supposed to do? Because I remember there's a box on the wall that you need the knife to cut open, and I'm like, I remember that from the first time around in the original game, and I'm like, I don't remember, like, I'm walking around to doors, and then eventually it just clicks on me. Oh yeah, I have to go back to the beginning and crawl under a, like, everything's sort of like laid out very similar to the original game in this demo. I'm going to be very interested to see where it deviates, because it's going to deviate. It's, you know, they've already said as such. And, you know, Resident Evil 1, when they did that original remake, it's like the bullet points are all still there, but they changed enough up on you where it felt like it was a new game at the end of the day too. So
do you kind of see them after, you know, after playing this demo, do you see them going through the first, at least the first trilogy of Resident Evil games and remaking them? I think 3 is probably next after this.
I would not be surprised if 3 sees a release at some point, but look how long it's taken for 2 to come out. 3 will be a next generation anything at this point.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Unless they can easily, they've got Raccoon City built, so let's just for 2, so maybe they can.
It's an expansion for 2 or something.
Yeah, downloadable content is just a Jill storyline of 2, like episodic DLC that can be. Like when they did like the Uncharted spinoff, like it's like, yeah, it's just Uncharted 4, but we, you know, use new cast and everything. But yeah,
cool.
I'm very, very, very excited for Resident Evil.
So Capcom had some good things then.
Capcom had some good things. Like I am glad that I got to go with the badge, because it was every day I was there about a 3-hour wait.
That's the one thing. Having those appointments, or at least having the badge and an appointment, really helps out. Because I've been in situations where I've waited forever. I didn't have a I think it was E3 2 years ago when they had Zelda first, Breath of the Wild, and I didn't have an appointment at Nintendo's booth, and it quite literally was a 3-hour wait the first day. And I was just mortified. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Sorry, guys. We're not going to see Zelda at PAX at the E3. And the second day, I somehow got onto the show floor like as the doors were opening, and I ran to Nintendo's booth. I didn't have an appointment. I run to Nintendo's booth, and there was already a line there for like 40 minutes in front of me. And I'm like, how did the doors literally are opening up behind me? How are you guys here?
That was my experience at this show with Nintendo, because they had Smash there.
Oh yeah,
and like I was like the Sunday I got there well before the doors opened and got in there, and I'm like, by the time you make it back there, I'm like, can you teleport? Do you know a secret entrance that I don't know to get into this convention center? I have done this show for, you know, it's 15 years now. It's just insane to think. But like I think I know my way around this convention center, and apparently you know your way around much better than I do.
Yeah.
It's so I didn't get to play a single thing at Nintendo's booth. Because,
understandable,
because they like I was less interested in playing Smash because I know Smash. Like, I know what that game's going to be. I don't really need to. I was more interested in Pokemon Go.
Yeah, just the curiosity of Pokemon Go, right?
Exactly what that game was. Even that had like a 2-hour wait time to see. It's Pokemon. I just wanted to know what it feels like. What exactly that game it like feels like playing. Like that wasn't. That was a bust, but I didn't care too much. I didn't feel heartbroken.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll be able to get a chance to. It's out next month or whatever. So
one of my absolute favorite things that I saw at the show is ToeJam and Earl.
Okay, tell me all about this, because I am super hyped on this game.
Yeah, so they had a little rental space sort of off the show floor down by the marketplace. Took me a while to find it because like I'm not, you know, despite being from the area, I'm not really from Seattle. So when they tell me it's like, oh, it's at this location, I'm like, like even after I have the map open and I'm looking around, I'm like, it's like deep in an alleyway. It's an unmarked door.
Waze is literally telling you to bypass the homeless man so you can step over the garbage can.
Yeah, it took me a while to find the place, but once I got there, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's just a little rental space for events and parties and stuff. And so they had just a few things in there. They had Wander Song that just came out this last week, which is a charming little game. It's like, you know, it's like a little side-scrolling action game, but you sing. It's got a little radio wheel that comes up, and you choose notes, and you sing to attack and stuff. It was really charming. I want to check out more of it. The new, was it Missing or whatever? The new Swery.
Good old Swery.
But I was there with my appointment to see ToeJam and Earl. And so, what's your experience with ToeJam and Earl?
The original Genesis game, right? So that isometric top-down-ish game. I remember
it was a roguelike before roguelike.
Yes, yeah, and it was. I just remember just realizing how freaking bonkers it was, and then the platformer, the sequel, and I was sort of kind of taken aback because I thought, man, that's kind of a bummer. They've kind of lost some of the charm of that, but the platformer was actually really good too in a totally different type of way. Yeah. So I remember that was the last time I played both those games in like the 91 or 92, whenever it was.
It is for a 100% the first game.
Okay.
It is the roguelike, the original game done in HD. It's technically a remake, but it's not really a remake. Parts of your ship, all hand drawn, kind of that stuff. Like the art director was there, and I was like, they were apparently they do listen to people on their Kickstarter, because people were apparently very upset that, like, you know, ToeJam, nobody here, stuff like that. So it was like, so they have a classic stuff from the first game and stuff, but it looks gorgeous. It has a lot of like 90s Klasky Chupo cartoon sort of like aesthetic going for it. It's the same co-op where you have your two friends, and if you separate, the screen goes into a split screen thing.
Oh, that's cool.
And so, yeah, you wander around the level, you look for your ship part. If there's no ship part there, you just get in the elevator and go up to the next stage. And it's just all very simple, but it hits that nostalgic button absolutely perfectly, especially if you have an attachment to ToeJam and Earl. Like, that was one of my first Genesis games. Like, so when I was
that game is not available on any like modern console marketplace, is it?
I don't think so. I can't think of a re-release. Like, I don't remember. It had to have popped up on like the Wii Virtual Console or something, you would think. But
I don't. Yeah, it's a great. I don't know. I'm going to have to break out the Wii U to download the Wii games right now.
Yeah, but it did do one thing different than the original game. It's so, if you remember, you get in an elevator and you're going up, like, you can get knocked off the edge of the stage and fall down. You can actually see the stage below you now. So when you're on the next stage, you actually see the stage below you. So if you're up on the next level, you can see that, we did miss a ship part. It's down there. I can see it. You can actually like fall off the stage or go into the elevator, you know, go back down and see something that you've missed, or because, you know, technology is so much different now, you can actually get away with doing that. So it's exactly the kind of remake that you want something to be. When it's just like, we're not, you know, starting completely over, you know, and it's not like they went back. It's like, well, let's try to make it a little easier this time around or something, or change some of the rules or whatever. It's ToeJam and Earl, like, to a T. And I loved ToeJam and Earl, and it has new characters, and
awesome. I'm excited for it. I'm so excited for it.
It's absolutely a game to keep an eye on, because it's not gonna win any like Game of the Year awards or anything, because again, it's just the first game, but the first game is very, very good, and it's, oh, like I said at the beginning, it's a roguelike before roguelike was a thing. Like, it's like the originals. Like, there was no name for roguelike at the time. There was no.
Yeah,
It's very true to form. Like, it was a game that played like Rogue, in this, and you know, it being randomized and having like a very 90s sensibility with all of the characters. Like, the store that you go to get power-ups is like a D&D group playing outside. And, you know, you have like a mall cop who's trying to bust you and stuff, and it's it's so charming. It's got a good funk soundtrack, just like the old games, and you could tell that the game director was there. He's, you know, one of the original co-creators of the game, and you can tell he's very, very like just passionate about making a new ToeJam and Earl game. Like, as we're doing our interview, he is like brainstorming ideas with the art director as we're talking. Like, because we're talking about we were talking about difficulty, because it does have like scaling difficulty, and each character can have like their own like difficulty setting for themselves. If you're playing with somebody that's not as experienced, they can go down a level. And that was sort of I was talking like there seems to be scaling difficulty being a thing now. Like, you know, you could like the new Tomb Raider game, you can turn off the paint so you don't know where you're jumping, or you can change like the puzzles are easy but the combat's hard, and he's like, you know, I was thinking about changing it so we can have like for like the toddler mode, because they have like a children's mode. So you can't like take damage or anything. You just sort of explore with somebody. It's like, we need a button so if it's a young kid, they can just push it and they can teleport to the other player immediately if they get separated, because kids have a hard time looking at maps and figuring out where they are and stuff.
That's like all this stuff is happening live in front of you. That's hilarious.
Yeah, because I mean, it was a game that was on Kickstarter, and they're still in the process of all of that, and they're still getting info from and ideas.
But is it due this year at some point, or early next year?
It is due this year. So it's such a, you know, it's a game that it's got to be relatively easy for them to sort of, because they had to have like that teleport thing for like testing purposes and stuff. It's like, it's already built in there, so might as well just have it be a function of the game. And you know, at least it is just a 2D multi-level sort of game, so there's not a whole lot of that can go wrong with it, I guess, if you try to.
Well, that's cool. I'm excited. I mean, I'm looking forward to this one. It's been needed.
Yeah.
Good return. What else do you see?
There was this. Just randomly, there was a game for the Switch called Wing Sports. It's just this little thing set up in the corner, and it was just Pilot Wings.
Oh, like sweet.
Just this third party thing. I mean, when I say it's just Pilot Wings, I mean it is unabashedly just Pilot Wings. Like, you have a jetpack, you have a biplane, you have a hang glider, and you're flying through rings, and you're trying to like. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not like anyone's gonna write anything about it or mention it until it comes out. But like, you know, Pilot Wings is fun, and Nintendo's certainly not going back to it anytime soon. So I at least keep an eye on it. I thought it was a little easier than Pilot Wings, because I think the controls kind of just were a little more forgiving than the original Pilot Wings. But
that's you know, one of the things that I loved about the PAX show is that you tend to find like the coolest stuff just walking around between appointments, you know.
Yeah, you'll get the independent developers seeing that you have the media pass and they want you. They like damn near grab you to like, hey, have you seen this? And you're like, yeah, no, okay. Well, I'm just trying to make my next appointment, but okay. But yeah, no, I thought that was a charming little thing. And they even, when he was talking about it with it, he's like, it's Pilot Wings. Like, we wanted to make Pilot Wings. Nintendo's not making Pilot Wings, so we did. So yeah, all right. Played several rounds of Soul Calibur 6 because I love fighting games. And it was the
Interesting.
way
Okay.
I wasn't going to get away from. I played clearly more rounds than I was supposed to, but they weren't really keeping an eye on the line too well. So it was, just play as like played once as like every character, and I love Soul Calibur. I love 3-dimensional, like that style Tekken, Soul Calibur, like fighting games in a 3-dimensional plane. So it's
and that's coming out soon too, right?
super soon. Like,
because I know there's a beta kicking off like this.
Yeah,
past
I think it
weekend or
was
something.
this weekend was the
Okay.
beta, and yeah, no,
And does it just play like Soul Calibur?
Yeah, it's Soul Calibur. It feels exactly what Soul Calibur is, just looks prettier. I mean, and I got who was the? I'm trying to. Witcher. That was the. What's
Good. The Witcher girl.
Yeah, he was a playable character in it. I was like, yeah, all right, I'm down. It's the era of weird crossover fighters in these games now. So yeah, sure, I absolutely love.
Link is still my favorite crossover character.
yeah. I mean, Soul Calibur. If anyone's gonna have crossover characters, Soul Calibur sort of established that out the gate. Like Soul Calibur 2 had Link for GameCube, Spawn for the Xbox, and Hayachi for the PS2. What was 3? 3 did have somebody. I don't remember 3.
Was 3 the one?
Or was 3 the one with the 3?
I think 3 was the one with the crossovers.
Was the one with the crossover characters, because 4 was Star Wars.
Oh God, yeah, that's right.
Xbox and PS3 each had a different character. One was Vader and one was Yoda. That was something else. That was silly, and not like the good kind of silly I ever felt either. Like, but I will always be excited for a new Soul Calibur, a new Tekken, new whatever fighting game. I'll play any of it. I'll tell you put it in front of me. I'll definitely.
It's certainly it's certainly a good year for fighting games. That's for sure. We've had some good ones already, and now Soul Calibur, and you mentioned not getting a chance to play Smash, although it is just more Smash. I think those two are they're the last two big ones I think this year.
Yeah.
Cool.
Biomutant from THQ.
Oh yeah, how was that? Because I knew very little about this game.
I knew very little about it too, other than that the main character looked like, and it's like a little like cat dude, and I really liked that game. It is it has a sort of like a platformer feel of like the old mascots that like 3D platform, like Ratchet and Clank or Jax and Daxter kind of thing. Like it's an open world kung fu adventure. It's got like this weird like it's got some like Asian like overtones to it, and like it has a narrator, sort of smart ass narrator throughout the bulk of the demo, sort of like and it is a narrator that like knows what's going on, and so like if you're whiffing a lot of shots, it'll say you'll get a smart ass comment about it or something. But it's like it's a cutesy little platformer, and you can like modify your character. So it's like if you took the cat companion from
Monster Hunter
World and like just made him the main character. Like you get to customize the cat to look like how you want to, and now you have like you have powers, and you fight. There's like he has like, but there's also like a mutation situation going on. There's like so you like your character, there's like gross powers and stuff too. Like you protect yourself in a bubble, but the bubble's like mucus, and you can bounce in it. In the boss fight that was in the demo, you ended up getting swallowed by the boss. And if you mess up, like you're fighting out of his stomach acid and then trying to get to his heart and stuff and fight his heart in there. But if you get washed out by the stomach acid, you'll just crap you right out, shoot you in the air, and you have to start it all over again.
This sounds like completely different than what I heard Biomutant. I saw some of the original concept, like art type stuff, and I thought, oh, this could be like a futuristic FPS. Mutation, something that get completely out. That's good. It's an open world karate game where you're a cat and you get to go inside bosses and they poop you out. This is suddenly much more intriguing.
It's like that was my first, like after I'm done playing the demo, I was like, okay, I guess my first question is, how like come up with this kind of thing? Like you just somebody is messed up. What's going on? Like and yeah, they're saying like it is very much inspired by the like those like 2000s platformer, like those mascot themed platformers and stuff, and you can feel that, although it feels a little more a little less constricted. Like there's a lot more combat variation. You got a lot more moves and power-ups, and it's not like guns and stuff explicitly or what have you. So I'm definitely going to keep my eye on it and hope it sort of like what that demo is like. If that's what the game is as a whole, I'll have some fun with it. As if it keeps that sense of humor that it has about itself.
Cool.
I think it'll be a nice hit for.
Is that next year?
That's next year.
Okay.
Yeah. What else?
February 22nd, probably more than like every other.
Yeah, exactly. If there's one thing that I just absolutely have to talk about, it's Quiet Man.
Oh yeah, okay. When we first saw this at E3, we didn't know what the hell it was.
Still don't know what the hell it is.
Still don't know what the hell it is, but give it a shot. Tell us.
So yeah, it is half FMV, half brawler, but it does neither thing very well. Like the movie part of it is just this really cheesy, corny, like FMV. Like, yeah, okay, that's FMV, I suppose, but at the same time, like it's not particularly great. It crashed on me. Like the second I started getting into a fight, the game crashed on me. So, already starting off with a bad impression and then just going into another bad impression. But the combat is boring. It's just a couple buttons. You're punching people, and one of the segments was sort of like you're wandering around an apartment looking for stuff like clues of some sort. Like I am not 100% certain what the plot is, other than you're a deaf guy who clearly his girlfriend is dead or missing or something. I missed chunks of the story because it crashed and they just shot me to
really
later on into the demo. Like I'm fighting these guys in the subway, it crashes, and next thing you know, I'm in an apartment looking for things. I'm like, I know I've missed some story elements here, so I don't know. But like the sound design is like, I don't think it even knows how it wants to portray deafness, because like you're watching the cutscenes and you're hearing the guys talk. And like like you get into the gameplay and you can still sometimes hear them talk, but most of the time once you're in combat, it's just those sort of like oceany sounds of like just like blood flow that you can hear in your ears and stuff, and that's all you hear, or like faint thuds and stuff like when you make contact. But the combat is so boring. Like it really is just a couple of buttons. It's like square, 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 and you're done. And there's like it doesn't, like if it was like a Batman or Spider-Man sort of thing, it'd be fine. Like I feel like that game's gonna be like super short as well. Like I don't know how long you can make that go on. Like the full game can't be 20 hours. It just couldn't. You'd be so sick of it by the end of that, unless it really opens up somewhere around the halfway point. It is Square, so it's entirely possible. Yeah.
40 hours in, it's going to turn into an actual game.
The game gets good. Trust me. It opens up at around the 40-hour mark. It's fine. It's when he gets his sense of hearing back. I don't know. But yeah, it's unfathomable that you would put that on the show floor. Like, it's clearly not ready for anyone to play. It doesn't show you anything interesting other than how silly it is. Like, I genuinely hated it. Like, I was like, I don't want to be cruel, but I'm just like, this game is
it is ungood.
Yeah, yeah. And it was like tucked away. Like even they kind of realized, like, let's hide this between the Final Fantasy card game and Kingdom Hearts 3 and just hope nobody notices it, because they had like four screens running it. So
they're contractually obligated to put the game to showcase the game somewhere.
Yeah, it's really is sort of like, listen, if you were gonna let you make this game, you're gonna have to show people this game. Like, why we signed off on this, I could never tell you, but we did, and you're gonna have to own up to it. So
you're gonna have to own up to it. So give us a couple more games maybe you saw over at PAX.
Yeah, let's see.
Or experiences,
saw Good Life, which I was in because they had that. It's sweary, so I didn't know exactly what that game was, other than like some of the vagueness of the Kickstarter thing, and like there's not much game that they were showing, but like it was a little more foul than I expected. Like there was I wasn't expecting I thought it was going to be a little more family friendly than it was, but no, it's murder and swearing, and like you clearly as the character don't want to be there. And like you were just running chores. It was, hey, I think my wife is cheating on me, can you find her, kind of stuff. Like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, it sounds like a great task, a great mini quest.
Yeah. So you're just sneaking around trying to get photos of them like kissing or something. It's like, all right, sure, why not?
What kind of game is it? First person, third person?
Third person. Okay. Just like it feels like when you get to like the controlled wise and how you're moving around, it feels like when you get to like the city sections of like a Pokemon game, Modern Time, like that's just how it kind of feels. You're just kind of running around the city, performing menial tasks and stuff, and it's I'm excited to see exactly what that game turns out to be, but like there was nothing, because what they were showing demo wise isn't like how that game was pitched. So
the interesting thing about Swery's games is that they're so like art house themes that are behind them, but the execution is never quite matches what those things are.
Like I love Deadly Premonition.
Yep, Deadly Premonition
it's so bad, but but it's executed in such a way where it's like you can't be mad at it. It's like it looks bad, the acting's bad, and everything's just like really. Even the gameplay itself is like, this is a Dreamcast survival horror game. Like everything about it feels like, that's. I mean, I got no problem with that, but at the same time, it's.
And what else? What else did you see?
Well, some of the other stuff that I saw is stuff that's already out, so it's like hard to talk about. It's like Spider-Man. Like, all right, I've beaten Spider-Man now, and
you guys have to do this spoiler cast. I'm just getting into Spider-Man now, so I can't literally hop in. But
I was very excited. The very last thing that I saw was Tetris Effect.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
In VR, they had it both in its standard edition and VR, but it's very hard to get a VR appointment from Sony because they have an app that you have to sign into, and they tell you at noon you can schedule your appointment. And so it's like I either want to see the Creed boxing game or Tetris Effect, but Tetris Effect has the that was my focus. I was like, I really want to see that Tetris game. I love Tetris. I play Tetris constantly. I
didn't know that about you.
My flight to Florida that I just had on my vacation. A lot of Tetris.
Nice.
That Tetris Puyo game for the Switch.
That's so good. I got the Tetris 3DS game, which was fantastic. Or the Tetris DS. Sorry, Tetris DS.
Tetris DS is so good. It's probably my favorite version of Tetris, just because but this version of Tetris is wild because it's busy. It took a minute to sort of adapt to having stuff going on around you in a Tetris game. You're so used to being just strictly focused in just a very small segment of the board, and now there's like things flying around in front of the board, and it's Tetris. It's in VR, so it's like 3-dimensional. And it's getting in your way too, but like it once you get used to it, it sort of creates a cool ambiance, because Tetris, like, you can find yourself sort of going into the rhythm of the music when if you're playing it with sound and what have you, and having the music with the effects and everything, and it sticks with you afterwards. I was thinking about it a lot after I saw it, and they added a new power-up. So when you're getting lines and stuff, you're building up like a meter. When you hit the meter, it moves things in sort of like a slow motion sort of thing. So when you get a line, it clears the line, but it holds it, and it keeps hold, and it moves it towards the bottom. So you can keep stacking up lines, so you can get above a Tetris.
Oh, cool.
So you can get like, a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, depending on how full you've gotten your meter and how fast you can sort of, clear out lines and stuff. And so, yeah, I didn't think I would like that. I was like, that just seems kind of like a cheap little, like, if you can, why not? They always try to do something different when it's like not like what you would consider a mainline Tetris, like Tetris DS or the Game Boy ones, or even Worlds didn't try to, or was it Evolution? Ultimate Tetris was the most recent one.
Okay, yeah.
I have a poster signed by the creator on my wall, and I was like, "What game was that?" That's right, it's Tetris Ultimate. But every once in a while they try to do something different. They try to create something like, here's a new piece, and you're like, no, don't
do the new pieces. But at least this new kind of power up sounds interesting, at least. So
yeah, and it plays fine because you do not have to use it. It doesn't try to force it on you. There's no like. It's not like something that like it's a part of a piece that drops on the board, and when you clear it, it activates it or something. And it's just something that like holding a piece. It just you can hold it forever and never use it if you don't want to. If you want a high score, obviously it's obvious you want to use it. And if you're really good at Tetris, you can really use it to your advantage. But
I'm excited to play this in VR. I think it seems like Tetris in VR, how would you pull it off? But everything I've seen about it is, really intriguing to me.
The first when the level starts amping up and it starts getting faster, it starts to become a little overwhelming, because stuff is happening and you kind of want to see what's happening, but you absolutely cannot. And that has to be intentional. Like, can we distract you enough to screw you up because it becomes part of the game at a point? So,
cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and that's definitely going to be something that I will absolutely buy day one when it comes out. Like, I won't. There will be no stopping me from playing Tetris, just locking on the headset and disappearing in the Tetris.
Awesome. I think that may be one that I do the same thing too. I try to find one VR game a year that PSVR game, whatever, any of the devices that I can kind of lock into. This might be the game, because I haven't put that PSVR headset on in maybe since like January or February, so it's starting to get a little dusty. I'm waiting for Vacation Simulator to come out because we really like Job Simulator up in my house. So this sounds like it might be the perfect game for this year. So
yeah, and you spend all the money on the VR headset. You kind of just got to take what you can get at some point. One of my favorite movies is Rocky, so they just put out a Creed game. Maybe I should get that, but I don't exactly have faith in like licensed boxing. Although the PS2, the Rocky Legends, there was 2 Rocky games. One just called Rocky, and then like a follow-up. I think it was Legends or something. That was actually a fun little boxing game.
Okay.
Characters in it. So who knows? It's out now. Just came out. So.
Creed. Okay, cool.
There's not very many reviews out there, so I don't want to dive in blind.
Sure. Well, JJ, thank you for taking the time to chat about PAX. I know there's it's been a couple weeks, but the stuff is still relevant. And I think there's still so many of the cool games. I mean, ToeJam and Earl. Nobody was talking about that after PAX, which to me was really surprising.
Yeah, so ToeJam and Earl is, but there's not much to talk about with it because it's the first game. But I think that's what makes it so good, is that it's the game that I wanted the sequel to be, that it wasn't. Don't get me wrong. I love ToeJam and Earl 2, the platformer, but I think the first game is leaps better than the platformer is. So go back to that, and knowing that that's sort of what people wanted really made me happy to see that they've pulled it off, and it is absolutely fantastic. And Biomutant is absolutely something that again, not a whole lot of talking about it, because it's sort of, there's not, I mean, what do you say about this gross cat that's fighting demons, especially since it's sharing a booth with Darksiders 3.
Oh, Darksiders 3 was there too.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I was like right next door to it, so it's just like you're over here, and Darksiders 3 has all the cosplay and statues and stuff. So, it's easy to get lost in that stuff. But I love that type of game, and I think that's worth looking into for people just to see what that game is. I have floating around here somewhere. I'll give you the press kit that I got it because they have a complete playthrough of the demo that I played on there.
Nice.
Not of the demo I played,
Sure.
just what the demo was. But
yeah, we can post it up there. Awesome.
Yeah, I'll give that to you because it's real fun to see how that game comes together in the end, because it's hard to describe it without making it sound completely boring. But once you see it in action, it's great.
Cool. Well, JJ, where can we find you?
On Twitter at _double_J. Also, starting tomorrow, I've got a new podcast that I've been working on, and it's called Disney Compendium.
Oh my gosh.
It's so starting tomorrow, you could October 1st, because I don't know when this is going up. You can go to DisneyCompendium.com and the podcast will be there. And it is a chronological history of Disney animation studio movies.
Oh, this sounds fantastic. I will totally be listening. I'll put the link in the thing. I'll totally be listening to that. Sweet, dude.
Yeah, so it's going to be once a week. There's about 57 movies, so it'll be about a year's
Holy mackerel.
content. So,
at least a year's worth of podcasts, yeah.
Yeah, so, very excited. It's me and my friend Nick, and friends will show in for particular episodes. I'm telling them, if there's a movie that you like, just tell me and jump in. If there's, I'm not saying it's going to be anytime soon.
Right.
Yeah. But, if you like Aladdin, just call me and you can talk to me. I know all of the trivia about all of them, and that's sort of
so amazing. It's amazing.
That's sort of my goal, is that it's easy to find broad trivia about these movies, like in books or biographies or documentaries, but just really concise, small little chunks of trivia for every Disney movie has an interesting story behind it. So
awesome.
That's what I wanted to tell, and that's what it's going to be starting October 1st. That's going to launch.
October 1st. Very cool. Well, thanks a lot, JJ. You can find me at Dolly Demovsky. You can find us at SideQuesting, sidequesting.com. I think SideQuesting TV on Twitch and all that fun stuff. But awesome. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, JJ, again. And we'll chat again real soon.
Oh, yeah.
Bye.